Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Hey, welcome back to another fun episode of Next to Madison. On this episode, since it is basically mid-January, we are talking about keeping your resolutions. I'm back with business strategist and life coach Erin, who's been doing this for 30 years. And we talk about why resolutions don't usually stick and how it should be more lifestyle changes, or as her word, what are your evolutions for 2024? It's okay if you've already slipped up on some of your resolutions, so to call. This episode is to kick you back into gear and know that you can start at any given day. The sooner you start, the better. But if you need to kind of figure out what those are, this episode is going to be inspiring. How to get into manifesting, how to live from the end, and also get clear on what your goals and intentions are so you can evolve into the person that you want to become. So get a pen and paper, you guys, or re-listen to this episode multiple times. There's a lot of great nuggets in this fun conversation with us. So please enjoy and share with a friend that you find that you think it will impact positively. And again, I thank you all for listening to this show. I couldn't do it without you. I am so grateful. And one of my evolutions is to continue to make this show an impactful, resourceful place where you can come and learn something every time to improve your life. So we'll be right back after this brief message on Next to Madison with our amazing guest coming up. Hey, it's Madison Malloy. I just wanted to remind you to make sure you grab a copy of my book, Time to Lighten the Fuck Up. It is a great, funny self-help book that is going to help you get out of your own way. I have already helped thousands and thousands of people, and they are on their way to living their dream life, and I want every listener to be able to live their dream life as well. So grab a copy of the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or even the audiobook on Audible. Now back to the show. We are back with our amazing guest. She's been on the podcast before, as I stated previously in the introduction. I'm excited to have her back. It is the new year. We are talking about resolutions, and she is just somebody who has honestly got a lot of great takes on this. So we're going to talk about resolutions and why they usually fail for most people and what you can do so you're not one of those people. So without further ado, Erin Lay, back on the show. How are you?
Hey, great, Madison. How are you doing? I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm always excited to have you because we talk a lot offline, and we were talking about resolutions. I've been doing a lot of solo podcasts on this. I've gone on TV shows about this, and I wanted to kind of get your take on it. We are now in pretty much mid-January, and most people's resolutions have already failed.
Yeah.
My take on this is resolutions don't work. It has to be a lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be your goals can't be a fad diet. They don't work.
Right. And it can't be just all of what you're doing wrong. Focus on all of what you're doing wrong. And let's hope to change all of that, So I love to say evolution instead of resolution, evolving.
I love that.
Yes. I'm excited about this. And Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year to you,
everybody listening.
It's so funny because I used to write out resolutions and things like that. And now I just kind of write out, more about what I want to do to feel happier, healthier, and wealthier. And then I try to adjust my life around that. So it's not like I'm doing this for 2 months, or I just try to adapt the lifestyle change. So I like the evolution because that ties into a lifestyle change. But you and I have talked offline, and you always had, and you're going to talk more about this right now, a word to sum up the entire year.
Yes.
So let's get into that.
Yes, I love this. So I started this a few years ago after the divorce, and I'm just what is one word that I can focus on for that year? That's my vision. That's my main goal for the year. So initially it was growth, to grow the company, to grow as a person, as a new single mom. And then it was abundance, looking to just open up the ocean, the ocean come in. And anyway, this year it's fitness, right? I want to get physically fit. I started with a personal trainer today. So excited about that. Yes. And, investing in other things. And so fiscally fit, more fit in everything. I want to remodel part of the house, upgrade the house, the home, make it more of a smart home and that kind of a thing. So fit in every areas of my life. So that's my goal for this year. And I've just found with myself and with my clients, because I've been a life coach and business strategist for over 30 years, whenever they focus on that one word, it comes to fruition, because then we're all conscious creators. Well, we all have the talent, the gift of
Yeah.
being a conscious creator. Most
Yeah.
people are not the creating by default, and they're letting the world decide for them as opposed to being intentional about what they want to create. So that's why I love evolution instead of resolution, because it's who do you want to become this year in 2024, right? What kind of a person do you want to become? It's all about the
Yeah.
becoming. And we all grow till we take our last breath. And anybody that thinks they have it all figured out has the most to learn, because we're all growing, we're all evolving, right? And if
Yeah.
we stop growing, if we stop evolving, then it just goes backwards. It's like we're stifled, and we're not, if you're not growing, you're dying, basically, is the way it is.
Yeah.
And getting comfortable is the enemy. So you want to have audacious goals for 2024. You want to get super uncomfortable, because if your goals are not making you uncomfortable, if the vision that you want for your life for this year, that word, if it's not making you uncomfortable, then it's not big enough.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I do love like the word, because it's kind of like, and I talked about this on a program, was like, it's the theme for your year. What's your 2024 year theme? Which is amazing. But also, if you're listening to this and you're somebody who did not set New Year's resolutions, or you hadn't figured it out, or you weren't sure what to do, that's okay. Like, I always like to start my evolutions or resolutions, whatever, the first full week after the new year. So versus right on the new year, because if you can't start January 1st, you're hungover, you're tired, it's no, doesn't work.
Right.
So
Right.
start it after the full year. But also, I'm a big fan of like, why does it have to be January 1st? I think at any given day, you can determine that's when you start your new evolution, your new life.
Right.
You could wake up on February 1st and say, this is when it's going to change, but it's committing to that change, right? Because what
Right.
will
Right.
happen is, if people give up already, which most have, by mid-January, they
Right.
just say, oh, fuck it, next year's my year. No,
Right.
we have
Right.
so much time in this year to think about how you want to change. And you and I are both like in the coaching business, where manifesting is really living in the end result. So looking
Yes.
at your goals or your resolutions, or whatever you want to call them, whenever you decide to start, you can start whenever. The sooner you start, the better. But like, becoming the person you want to be.
And like you just said, live from the result. Neville Goddard, law of
And
assumption.
yeah,
The law of assumption is live from the result. Have the feeling as if it's already happened. Think about it, speak about it, and have the feeling as if it's already done. And so it is. That's what amen at the end of a prayer means. And so it is.
yeah,
So I have a little bit of a different take with regard to setting the goals. First of all, it's always a good time. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, right? The
yeah,
next best time to plant a tree is today. So it's always a good time. It's always, we're always in the present moment, and then the past is anything that happened in the past happened in the present moment. Anything that happens in the future is happening in the present moment. So everything is the present moment. All we have is now. Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now all the time. And I heard him speak the other day, and he said he was in a bar in Dublin, Ireland,
yeah,
and there was a sign that said free beer tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, because it's always the present moment. So it's never free beer, because free beer is always tomorrow, because it's always the present moment. But my take on it,
interesting.
especially for corporations, is that the third quarter before the next year starts is always the best time to start thinking about the evolutions, how you want your business to evolve.
Yeah,
Like, start the third quarter of that year. And this way, it's not like you're trying to figure it out and scrambling as of January 1st. Like you said, so many people are hungover and just trying to figure that out.
yeah,
But so for corporations, if anybody, think about it, during the third quarter, what you really want to walk into, what you want to step into. So then this way you already know January 1st, what you want to focus on. But absolutely, it's not like it's ever too late. So I never want anybody to think, oh, it's too late. It's already February. I screwed up. I messed up. No, No, just start at any time. So, and like you said, be committed to the vision that you create for your life, for the new year. Otherwise, if you're just interested, you'll back off at the first sign of an obstacle saying, it's not the cards, wasn't for me. You'll stand behind your excuses and you'll just think that you were doomed to this another year of, life sucks or life, is the grind and all this other stuff. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
We all have the power within us, the hidden power. We all do to create the life that we want. The only time that anybody stays stuck is when they convince themselves that they should, and that's a whole lot
Mm,
of the unworthy, not good enough, and self-sabotage. And that's the only way that people stay stuck. So be committed to becoming the person, the business owner, the individual, whoever that you want to become this year and become it.
yeah. And it's going to take getting uncomfortable to
Yes.
become that new version, right? Especially if you're, and fitness is so important because it's not just physically fit. It ties into your mental fitness. The stronger you are physically, the stronger you'll be mentally and vice versa. So,
Yeah.
like this morning, I decided to change the time of my workouts when I'm on the mountain time because I felt like I was getting distracted. I'd work for 2 hours, go to the gym, and then come back. And it was like such a distracting break. So when that alarm went off at 5 a.m. this morning, I was like, what am I doing? Like, no way. I'm not doing this. It's snowing. Like, I had a million excuses. But then I thought, you know what? You got to get uncomfortable doing to become more fit, to become more mentally strong. And it was hard, but I was really glad I did.
And I'm so happy for you.
Oh,
And that takes discipline. And you are one of the most disciplined people that I've ever met, especially when it comes to fitness. And 5 a.m. is not easy, but
no.
you want to get out in front of your day. So it takes discipline. And then after a while, you have that muscle memory where 5 a.m. is your body's just going to say, oh, it's time to get up, time to go to the gym. Like it's no big deal. But it takes
Yes.
being uncomfortable in the beginning to break through, that paradigm of it was early and the
Yep.
sun's not up, and to break through that. And then all of a sudden, the body's the instrument of the mind. So then before you know it, the body's like, oh, time to get up. It's 5 a.m. Whether it's 10 a.m., 5 a.m., does it really make a damn bit of difference?
Yeah, it's kind of like
It's
what your
just what we
body's
used
programmed
to.
to.
Yes.
And when you talked about earlier, like living in the end, as somebody who's been doing this for 30 years, you've written a lot of different powerful books. What are some things that people that are listening right now can do when because they might be sitting there going, what does she mean by living in the end? How do I live in the end? I think it's to become absolutely fucking delusional in a good way.
Yes.
That's living in the end.
Yes. Yes. I've had so many people tell me, Erin, that's not realistic. Erin, that's not realistic. And I kept doing everything that I said I do. And then they scratched their forehead like, huh, how'd you do that? Because I didn't listen to the outer world. If you're committed to doing something, burn the boats, come hell or high water, you're going to make it happen, then you will make it happen. But it takes persistence and it takes discipline and it takes belief in yourself. And for me, I believe in God, so
Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing all this by myself. They call me
Yeah.
the miracle maker, but I know I'm not doing this by myself. So
Right.
just examples, and I've said this before in your other show, on the other show, this podcast, but that I've done once before with you, and so many other TV shows, that I had cancer at 25, and I just would not agree with the doctors because it's all about agreement, right? What do we agree with? So I would not agree with the doctors that I was going to die, and they kept telling me I was going to die. It was a crazy 2.5 year protocol. And they said if the chemo didn't work as fast as the tumor was growing, I'd be dead in a month. Then a couple months later, I was going to be dead from a white blood count of 0 and an infection. Then I was going to be dead So every time I turned around, they kept telling me I was going to die. And I kept
Yeah.
saying, get out of my room. You're not talking about meditation and visualization, affirmations, things that I learned that they weren't talking about in 1991, law of
Yeah.
assumption, like I had the feeling the cancer was gone. Like it's gone. I beat this. I'm
Yeah.
done. It's gone. But I had to be mentally strong. I had to be mentally stronger than any words. Like when they spoke about dying and all this other kind of stuff, the words fell to the ground like they were talking a foreign language to me. Like I wouldn't take it in. You
Yeah.
know, in the beginning, before I learned all this, I was shocked and I was screaming and crying. But once I started to learn about what you and I are talking about, and the law of assumption, the law of vibration, which leads to the law of attraction and everything else. I wasn't going to let anybody get in the way of how I was vibrating and how I was living from the end, because I was living in the end.
Right. You,
Yep.
in the end, you were
Yep.
surviving. And
Yes,
so, yeah, it's like ignoring your 3D and
exactly.
living in the 5D, so to say. The 5D you can't see, but you truly, truly believe. And I've been, one of my evolutions, resolutions, or whatever you want to call it this year was to really and I just had a brain fart, so apparently it wasn't that important. Oh, which was really like when things frustrate me or I'm feeling like anxiety or whatever emotion I don't want to necessarily feel, that I don't associate with a positive emotion. Instead of just like trying to like ignore it and push it away, I'll try to pinpoint what are the thoughts I was thinking that led to this. Because
Right.
usually it's just one simple thought that then goes on a freaking roller coaster. Because some people will say, well, I don't know where I need to change, or I don't know what I need to do. Yes, you do. Pay attention to your emotions,
And pay attention
the
to the word,
negative ones, because
right, and the
those tell you a
words.
lot.
Absolutely. And the words you're speaking. Another example was when I was going through the divorce, everybody was like, you got to get a job, get a job. I was going on 50, and I
Yeah.
hadn't worked for, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I did the coaching and wrote books and had a radio show and did all this stuff, and then all of a sudden everybody's telling me I have to get a job. And I was like, because I stopped everything to focus on the kids and my
Yeah.
sister and everything else at that time. So I couldn't function, no less work. And they're like, you got to
Right.
get a job. You have the 3 kids. But I knew in my imagination, and everybody says, oh, it's in your imagination. When it's in your imagination, that's the most powerful thing, because everything that you see in this
Yes.
outer world first started in someone's imagination outside of nature. Everything else, so the benches that you're looking at, the houses, the cars,
Yep.
the pencil, the pen, everything started in somebody's imagination. So the imagination is very, very powerful. So I saw in my imagination that I was going to grow my business, and I knew how I was going to do it, and I did, and I scaled it to 6 figures fast. So, which was more money than I would have made if I got a job, at that age, and that was almost eight
Yeah.
years ago. And but my paradigm, which I didn't realize until I was talking to Sharon Lecter when I was at her house, was making 1 million. So easy 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, easy with my eyes closed. But the minute somebody said million, like Erin, because we went over my whole business model, and she said, you have a
Yeah.
$1 million coaching company. And I said, no, Sharon, that's a lot of work. I'm a single mom. I can't imagine the amount of work that has to go into that. Like, I'm overwhelmed even thinking about it. And I said, that's for the men in my world, because I grew up in a
Oh,
wealthy area, and it was the men that were cranking out the millions and the billions, not the women. So my paradigm was, that's for the men. That's not for me, like, but
right.
999,999 dollars and 99 cents was fine. Million, no. But
Oh
then
my
I broke that
gosh.
paradigm down. I broke the paradigm down, and now I'm completely open to it. And I have so many things going on right now that could lead me to that and blow past it, with
Yeah.
patent pendings and a whole bunch of different things. So very, very exciting for, for this year. Really, really, really
Yeah.
exciting. But I
No,
had to
and
break the paradigm down in order for these opportunities to come to me.
yeah, no, it's so true. And you are like the queen manifester. I mean, it was proof you literally you manifested your way of surviving. You're supposed to be dead.
Nice. My
You know what
son's
I mean?
girlfriend my son's girlfriend for Christmas, she made that water thing for me, and it
Yeah,
says manifesting happiness, because they know that I'm like the queen of manifesting, but manifesting happiness because I'm always so happy. So
you
she's like, you
are.
always manifest happiness.
Yeah,
But
which is such a great way to be. So I want to play a fun little exercise that I think will be fun. There's so many things that people want to manifest. So I want you to give us a mantra. It can be whatever comes to mind. This is an R-rated show, so don't hold back. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really don't hold
you know
back.
me. I know.
Anything goes, anything goes.
I know.
So there's so many different things that people are trying to manifest. So I want you to give us a mantra for each of the topics I'm about to share with you. Okay.
Okay.
Manifesting money. What's a
Okay.
good mantra?
I'm gonna just do a spoiler alert from the very beginning. I paid $49 for this thing called the genie script. and it was about a mantra on how to manifest, right? So it kept showing up on my Facebook and my Instagram, this ad for the Genie script, and Oprah Winfrey's talking about how amazing it was, and like all these different movie stars and rap
Yeah.
singers talking about how. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay the $49 because I'm curious and I
Yeah.
want to see what it is. And it was Bob Proctor's I am so happy and grateful now that. And Bob
Yeah.
Proctor gave a testimonial. Like when I bought it, Bob Proctor had a testimonial underneath saying that he endorsed it. But it was, I am so happy and grateful now that, get law of assumption now. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have trillions in the bank, in investments and working for me, like whatever it is that you want to do. Again, the sky is just the beginning. Don't think small. You
Yeah.
know, like when I couldn't even fathom making a million, now I think, why was I like, why just one? You know, why not a billion?
Yeah.
Like why think so small? So I'm so happy and grateful now that I am making billions and enjoying life. That could be your mantra. But again, be audacious, like think big. Don't think small. Everybody thinks $1 million is a lot of money. It's really not. It's all relative. People can make
Relative
a
to your
million
life. Yeah.
right fast as they can make 50. And it doesn't mean that making $1 million makes you a better person than somebody making 50.
No.
It
Right.
depends on what is it that you want. Like that's you got to be really clear on what it is that you want in life. Some people just they don't care about money. They just want to
Yeah.
be able to just, travel and just a very simple
The
life.
freedom.
And that's
So
fine.
yeah, so that
God,
could be I'm so happy and grateful now that I have multiple sources of income and I'm financially free. And then that way you don't have to put a specific number on it if you don't want to, because again, you can only achieve what your mind can conceive
concede.
or think that's possible. So if
Yes.
you just set it at a million, but you're really far from a million, well, that's all you're going to hit. So
Right.
that's another way to, I think, to keep it open-ended.
So you can say, I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me effortlessly, easily
Yeah,
through multiple sources and on a daily basis. That's a great one.
exactly. Relationship, a dream relationship.
I'm so happy and grateful now that I am with for me, man, for whoever, whatever you want to be with. I'm so grateful now that I am in a healthy, happy relationship with my soulmate, so as long as I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm for me, I would say in a healthy, happy relationship, where we're laughing and dancing and just having so much fun.
Yeah, and I think it's being specific. Like, have you heard, and Bob talks about it too, like the starburst thing where you talk about like the qualities you want in this person and don't put a face on this person, but like the qualities you need, your non-negotiables
Right.
to like
That's
call them in. But yeah, it's
that's
really living in that because I have no problem, like, as you know, you're a friend of mine, like, I have no problem attracting men. I got a problem finding the right ones that are emotionally available. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Because
right.
obviously there was something in me that was emotionally unavailable. So I had to figure that out and really kind of retrain my paradigm of all the men are unemotional or don't choose me or whatever it was that was running in my narrative.
Totally.
Change that. So I had to be like, I'm
Totally.
so happy and grateful now that I've met the love of my life who perfectly compliments me. You
Yes.
know?
Yes. And with the longer, like what you just said, with the affirmation, it's just a little shorter. But for your vision for the man that you want to meet, you want to be in the vision statement, which is different than the affirmation. You want to be the eye color, the height, the details of exactly how he looks, how he behaves, kind and generous, and like the
Yeah.
character traits that you want in the man. That's more of the vision statement than the affirmation. But when I was first divorced and like a single mom going out again, it was like plucking me out of the 1980s and dropping me into the into the 2000s. I'm like, what is going on here? But
Yeah.
I used to, because I'm 5'7", so and then the minute I put shoes on, I'm even taller. And I used to constantly say to myself and out loud every time I went out, I'm like, there's nothing but a bunch of like everybody was short, like the guys were all short. And so I just kept meeting short men,
Yeah.
but that was my thing. And then when I stopped speaking about it, it was so funny how, and because I became aware of it, I'm like, Erin, stop saying it, and I became aware of it. And then all of a sudden, I'm meeting guys that are like 6'4",
Yeah.
but I was speaking into what I didn't want to attract. Not that there's anything wrong with shorter guys. It's just I used to be 5'8", but somehow I shrank. with age, and now I'm five
You
foot
got to
seven.
do the
But
hanging exercises to stretch
yes,
your spine because it compacts. That's the thing. I'm like, will
okay,
that make me taller? You just you just never know. But that's like a
right.
hanging thing. Okay, so
But I
again,
was speaking into what I didn't want, and I was attracting that because in the present moment, whatever we're
so
thinking of and speaking is what we're attracting.
and
So that's where,
so yeah, and so many people do this because
yes.
we think like, oh, we're protecting ourselves. Like, I don't want those, blah, blah, blah. What about a fantastic sex life?
Well, there you go. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm having massive orgasms every day, multiple times a day. And, like it's just amazing. And I love it. And it's so much fun, like just
Uh,
talking to that because it doesn't,
yeah.
people make everything so heavy and so serious. And, like it doesn't have to be. Go have fun with life. Go have
It's
fun.
true. I just got pumped with my testosterone pellets again today. So I'm like, oh God, here comes the horniness. I better get a vibrator and a porn channel subscription. No, I'm just kidding. Porn will ruin your brain. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, even John Gray says
I
it's
just got no,
addicting.
it is. I
Wait, wait,
gotta
wait, wait.
find a
Time
man.
out. Going back to the porn. Back to the porn. Because I interviewed John Gray, the guy who wrote the man who wrote Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus,
Okay.
right? And he said that people that watch porn, he said it's so not good for you. It messes with the hormones in the brain, and then your partner will never satisfy you. He said when you masturbate, and like whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, that your partner will never satisfy you, which I thought was very, very interesting.
So you shouldn't be masturbating either?
Because he said that he said that your partner will never satisfy you. I guess like if you're in between and you just like maybe not a problem, but if you're in a relationship, he said it's not good
I got to
because
get in a relationship fast because I just got pumped with pellets and she just increased it a lot to help with my focus. And I'm like, oh shit,
right.
here we go. God, please tell me this one works out. Oh my God, I know. But yeah, that's
Uh,
great. It's so
yeah, so
crazy.
we're gonna put it on. No, 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 not forget please and hope. Please and
Okay,
I hope, and everything else is like begging.
you're
It's
right.
it's working out. It's working out. It's worked out. I mean, from what I hear, like in the present moment, it's worked out. It's working
I'm
out.
so happy and grateful now that I've met the perfect man who can satisfy my testosterone sexual desires.
That's right. That's it. That's
There's
it.
there's my mantra. There's my
That's it.
mantra. What about addictions?
Well, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm not addicted to, whatever it is that they were addicted to. I'm so
So
happy
does
and
it
grateful now
always
that I'm
have to
clean.
does
I'm
it
so happy
oh
and grateful now that I'm sober. Huh?
does it always have to be I'm so happy and grateful? I know that's Bob
Yep.
Proctor's thing, but what about
Yep.
Neville Goddard? Was he the same way?
Yes, they're all
Okay,
the same way. When I
present.
paid $49 for that genie script and it started with I'm so happy and grateful, everybody, and I've been studying this for decades. Everybody that's big in this realm, in
Yeah,
the spiritual and the personal development realm, always says the same thing. I'm so happy and grateful now that so many different faces. I really believe that Bob Proctor is the OG of all of this,
yes.
and so I credit him for all of it. But all the big names, anybody that ever watch on anything, these reels that you watch, and they all say the same thing. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and if it's to me, if it's truth, it's truth. You know what I mean? It's like reading something from the Bible, like God will meet you halfway, or those without a vision shall perish. I'm not going to change the words. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So if it's truth, it's truth. And to me, for
yeah,
affirmations for all these years, I am so happy and grateful now that works. It
yeah.
works because, and I also want to be clear, authenticity is the most important thing. If you're not being authentic, and in 2023 and 2022, probably even
Yes.
2021, I heard so many conversations about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. If you're having imposter syndrome, then you're not being authentic. And if you're not authentic, you're not manifesting anything. You know what I mean? Like
Okay, I
authenticity
like
is key.
this.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this more because I've talked on other podcasts about the power of authenticity and being authentic and I think some people in certain areas of their life, I'm guilty of it myself, you won't be authentic because you don't want people to see that you're weak in a
Hmm.
certain area. And especially in like, not for me, but a lot of people, well, for me too, we're all guilty of it, relationships. We don't authentically say what we want or what we desire, or that we actually like somebody because we're afraid of the rejection. So we're not being authentic. So we're not really manifesting the right things.
Right, right, right. And
Which is
there's so many.
eye-opening.
I have not been authentic since I was 25 with the cancer. Before the cancer, I was so trying to be so much more than I was. The stockbroker on Wall Street and,
Hmm.
closing deals for people twice my age because I had every license under the sun because I'm an
Yeah.
overachiever, so I was going on these business deals and closing the deals for a lot. So I was trying to be so much more than I was, and it was exhausting. It's when you're trying to be something other than who you truly are, it is exhausting. It's cortisol flying, it's adrenals
Hmm.
draining, and it will make you sick, because if the mind is not at ease, like soldiers at ease, if
Yeah.
the mind is not at ease and the body's not going to be at ease, and I really believe that that leads to diseases, like cancer and heart conditions and stuff like that. So I learned with the cancer to just be myself, and even through the divorce, and I was so upset and I was shocked and devastated. I couldn't pretend to be anything but that. That's why I couldn't work. I couldn't function. I couldn't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. Even if I tried to, I just couldn't. I could never act, whatever I'm thinking and feeling is written all over my face.
Yeah.
But being authentic, I learned, the hard way, like most people do. Being authentic is so important, so I protect it with everything.
Yeah.
I don't care who I'm in front of. You could be a world leader, president of corporations. If you don't like me, that's okay. We part ways. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's just if I'm not looking, I never ever look to impress anybody. I don't care about impressing anybody, it's not like I judge people, so I never judge and I never gossip. So nobody has to
Yeah.
try to impress me. I'm just impressed. If you're a good person, I'm super impressed.
Right. Integrity. You're impressed with the
Exactly.
integrity. Yeah.
Character and integrity. Yep.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about goal setting. What are good ways? Because I know we kind of briefly touched on it, but I want to go into it more. Like you had
Right.
mentioned, make sure your goals scare you. They're big.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
hold back. So
Yes.
how can people start? Because I think that people lose faith when they start with goals that are so big. And then they say, well, I can't achieve it. And then they just lose the faith in their ability. So I always like to say, like, start with a goal, like that's not small, but attainable, and then upgrade the goal.
But why not set a goal? Like, why not set a goal? Let's say $10
But no,
million.
no, no.
And
That's what I'm
then,
saying. But if you're making $50,000
right?
a year
Right.
and you say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I make 10 million, and you don't hit it in that year, you might
Right.
get discouraged. So I don't think there's anything wrong from saying, I'm so happy and grateful now that I make 1 million. And then once you hit it, go to 10.
Right. You
Because
can
then
do
you're
that
not going to
too.
lose faith. You know what I mean?
Yes, you
Because
could do that too.
I would love to find people, and maybe I'll do it on myself and see if it
Right.
actually works, that have gone and hit that number within a year,
See,
within 1 year.
the way I look at it is if I say go for the 10 million, and if somebody hits 1 million or 2 million, it's still a lot more than the 50,000. But
Okay, I see what you're
I'm
saying. I'm
thinking that if
thinking
they
if
hit
you,
1 million, then they're only going to hit like 200,000. Then if they said if it's 10 million, if they hit 3 million, it's just a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like
okay,
to
I'm
me, I'm like,
thinking
why wait?
of, I'm thinking of if you don't hit that 10, it didn't work. So if you only hit 9, you're like, blah. But you're thinking of it's something so much greater than
Right.
what you have. But I see it, the thing is like I like to do that daily exercise where it's like the amount of money I want to make per month. So it's like I am so happy and grateful now that I make X per month. And I'll put it like not totally astronomically too high to where I lose faith, but
Right.
something that's bigger. And then when I hit it, then I do something bigger. And then I just keep going up. And therefore, I keep the faith in myself and my manifesting abilities, and I'm not becoming too unrealistic, but I'm moving towards more financial freedom. That's
Right.
how
Right.
I like to see it
And
versus,
if
and
that
having like
works,
your why is big too, because like
yes.
I've talked to somebody who was like, I want who made under 100 grand. I wanted to have 100 million. And I said,
Yeah.
that's great. But I said,
Right.
why the 100 million?
Right. They don't
Why
know
not
why.
50? Why not 200 million? What is it?
Right.
Oh, he knew why. He wanted the tits, the pussy, the boats, the cars, the validation from the external factors that
Right.
he fucking made it. And I said, I
Yeah.
love the number. I
Right.
hate the why. The
Right.
why
Perfect.
is not positive. The why is extremely negative. And if you're always looking for outside validation, you are always going to fall short. So your
Right.
why sucks.
Right.
You need to find a more positive why to get to the 100 million. And in fact,
Right.
once you actually have money, you're not going to want people to know you have money because
Right.
you're going to put yourself into a different category.
Right.
So you just need to have a more positive why, you know?
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that kind of mindset just leads to a lot of unhappiness. It might be like a 30 seconds of ooh, bling, and but then it's
Yeah.
a lot of unhappiness because happiness is derived from helping others, from serving others. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about us. Like Bob Berg wrote the book The Go-Giver, which was a take on the go-getter, instead of being like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go get it, I'm gonna be a go-getter, it's I'm a go-giver because that's where
Mhm.
happiness is derived. So if you have the mindset of take, and it's all about me, then you're not manifesting anything good in your life that's
Right.
lasting happiness. Lasting happiness comes from when people are in service of others. So if you want to make a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
$10 million or whatever, there's only a certain amount of money that you need to service your family. And then it's about how can you make this world a better place? What
Mm-hmm.
kind of investments can you put into, whether it's nonprofits or investing in businesses, small businesses to help people grow and stuff like that. So there's many different whys, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. The why is huge. The why is huge, and you also have to figure out, don't focus on it, but figure out what you feel is holding you back, right? Like
For goal setting.
for goal setting. So you want to figure out what your goals are. What is your North Star? What is your vision? There's a vision that you create for your life. That's the umbrella. Then there's the goals along the way that will lead you toward that ultimate destiny. So
Yeah.
the vision is like your North Star, right? So then you have the goals that you need to set along the way that will lead you toward that ultimate destiny. And then the decisions when you're clear on that, the decisions that you make throughout the day will be in line with each goal, like a ladder, leading you
Yeah.
toward that North Star, leading you toward your ultimate destiny. But you have to be clear on what it is that you want, why you want it, and what's holding you back. And get raw. Like get
I
raw with
like
your
that.
get really raw with yourself. And sometimes people don't want to feel any kind of insecurity or and just maybe you'd feel like you're not good enough and just go back to where you might have picked that up, or unworthy, or for whatever reason. And then just break the paradigm. And this is where coaching comes in. Coaching is so
Yeah.
important for everything that we're talking about because I have
Absolutely.
coaches, I have, private coaches, business coaches, mentorships and masterminds that I belong
Yeah.
to hold me accountable, and to help me get clear on my
Absolutely.
goals and the decisions. So then if I'm making decisions that are not in line with
Yeah.
what I want, I have my coach, to say, hey, wait a second, Erin, that's not in line, with what you have. And if you have a coach that doesn't have a coach, you never want a coach that doesn't have a coach. Any
Yeah.
good coach has a coach, like every
A
good
coach
coach has
has a
a coach.
coach. You're right?
And that's where
Exactly.
coaches come in very, very, it's super, super important,
Because they can help you
yeah.
identify, I think, like things where you
Yes.
think you're doing something right
Right.
or you think you're on the right track, but things aren't working. They can identify those little things. And it is so true when you become so self-aware, like especially with your goals. Like usually it's like, yeah, when you're setting something you want, there's gonna be a lot of resistance of every
Yes.
reason you can't get it or why it's going to be difficult, which is, the paradigm. But
Oh,
identifying when those emotions come up, like
and
what
the
needs to
paradigm,
be worked on.
just so people don't beat themselves up over the paradigm is so strong and does not want to be broken. It doesn't
Yeah.
want to die of neglect. It wants to continue to rule.
Hmm.
And so when we
Yeah.
start shifting the way we think and we start shifting our energy, and the paradigm's like, whoa, like an earthquake is going on inside your mind.
Yeah.
And it's like it's holding on. It will fight tooth and nail to not go away, and that's where
Yeah.
you feel the pushback and the body starts to go into like that terror barrier, and like
Yeah.
body feels like, oh my God, like, did I just spend all that money on something that's good, and then they realize that that was just the paradigm trying to hold them back. And so, yes, you just have to just ride that out, Just write it out, and eventually you create a better paradigm. It's like a vacuum. The mind is like a vacuum. So when you get rid of that, you just want to replace it with something good that will serve you. With the paradigm is no longer serving you. Obviously, it works for
Yeah.
us, as children. It served us at one point in our life. We bless it, we thank it, we let it go.
Yeah.
Bless you, thank you. You served me at one point in my life, and now I release you. But you have to replace it with something better, and that's where the positive affirmations come in
Yeah, no,
handy.
it's true. It's kind of like
Look in the
operating
mirror.
the same TV since you were a child. It's just probably not going to work anymore.
Yeah,
Or operating system or computer if they were around when you were a child. Some of us that
exactly.
weren't.
Right. No, no.
All
But
right. Well,
that's really, really important.
yeah, absolutely. No, I think this has been amazing. Tell everybody where they can find you, all that good stuff. Plug yourself before we go.
Yes, yes. So they can email me at info@erinley.com, info@erinley.com, or my website, which is erinley.com. And if you reach out to me at erinley.com and you put Madison Malloy in the subject line, then I will send you a free copy of my book, Work Love, which
I love
is,
it.
yeah, yeah, I wrote it during the pandemic, to bring more love into the world, specifically the workplace.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a copy of that.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I love it. Well, thank you again for coming on. I love this. It was like a brief, like kind of I wanted to do like a mid-January resolutions are starting to fail.
Love
Nope.
it.
We are making this happen. So use this as your motivation and share this with friends. You guys, one of the things that is also in my resolution before we go is to learn how to ask for help more. So I am now asking everybody for help if they could share this podcast with as many people as they want, even if it's just one person, to help get us out there and really, really grow so I can impact and reach more people. So I did it. I did it. I asked for help. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time to find out who's next. Bye.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.